Okay, over here at the upper right, we have
SSKS.
Tester.
SSKS, known as Tester. Down here at the bottom left, we have the one, the only.
OGS Hyperdub.
Really had to make you guys get ready for that one.
Yeah.
OGS Hyperdub.
Hyperdub, by the way, is such an awesome ID.
Oh. Uh-oh. Now, is he going to scout again early, or is he actually going to proxy?
It looks like he's going to proxy.
Okay.
No, never mind.
No, and that's interesting. He does this every game. This is not something we normally see from people, but clearly he just wants to make sure his opponent is not doing a proxy of his own.
Tester actually is so sure of himself that he can scout on 8 supply without building a pylon and just go down and figure out what you're doing and be like, all right, this is how I win from here.
Yeah, Tester
total brute force.
Clearly doesn't want to lose to any nonsense.
That's right, man. Shenanigans are the worst thing to lose to.
Well, you know, if you're a solid player and somebody just pulls a fast one on you early on, I mean, that's got to be very frustrating. But that's interesting play. We haven't seen that from the other players, somebody who consistently scouts that early.
I do like it, though. You know, that's Tester adapting to his opponent. You know, I think that if we saw him playing Clyde, for instance, his teammate, whom I have as a favorite for the tournament, I don't think he'd be scouting this quick, to be honest. I think he'd be doing a much more economical build.
We have the barracks on the way. He does leave room for an add-on. He may actually send the probe out and then try to peek up the ramp to see what his opponent's doing.
Well, until a Marine comes out, I don't think we'll see much in the way of exactly what is going on here, unless, of course, that probe runs away.
He's going to go ahead and let the Marine finish. Meanwhile, in the Protoss base, we're going to see a Cybernetics core. Very standard openers so far, with the exception of this very early scouting probe.
Which I think for Tester, at this point, man, he keeps on getting cheese. That might become standard for him.
Yeah, we really don't see any games with Tester where people aren't building stuff to kill him in the first 5 minutes of the game. Note, Terran did not make an add-on, continuing to make a Marine. By the way, guys, if you're kind of new to StarCraft or StarCraft 2, and you're a bit confused about why it really matters that he scouted early with his worker, it's because the first few workers in the game are what allow you to start to get that momentum. Yeah. So actually scouting with one very early means you're actually sacrificing quite a bit of your economy early on. But clearly Tester's somebody who values intel over economy.
And you got to appreciate that. When you're a better player, a lot of times intel is worth it. We see a lot of good players sometimes skip a mule and give that extra scan just for that intel. If you have the correct intel, you can counter something well enough that it's worth the minerals you spent on it.
Factory and a second barracks. Let's see what OGS Hyperdub has in store for us. OGS, of course, Spunky's team.
That is correct.
One of the best teams out there. Very solid.
Yeah, they have a lot of players in this tournament, and a few left as well, as we do progress further.
Stim on the way.
And I'm wondering exactly what he's going to do here. He is making a Hellion. So, and, oh, okay, we have 2 tech labs.
Very interesting. He may switch into Marauders here. Going to scout with this one Hellion. And once again, one base play for Hyperdub. He's not going to go for any kind of quick expanding stuff.
Oh, I love the second sentry play by Tester here while he gets up that robo. He realizes that, you know, when you're getting cheese like this, 1 force field is not going to be enough. 2, going to buy you so much more time.
Yeah, especially because the first sentry is going to have so much more energy stored up. You'll eventually have enough for a 3rd. Hellion to check what's up the ramp. Does he get in? Oh, nice.
Nice little scout here. Might even scare some probes away from mining. Never mind.
Well, he got to see everything. That's an interesting move there from Hyperdub.
I do like it.
Just shooting a Hellion in there because it is so fast.
Yeah. And, all right, well, we also have combat shields being researched. So actually he's going for Stim combat shields and Hellions. No Marauders whatsoever.
Yeah,
just wants to do a very
really
beefy Marine rush. Pretty interesting play here.
Now he does have the 2 sentries, so he can do 3 force fields on the ramp.
Yeah.
Actually, probably almost 4 by
and
the
he's
time
got to
the
use
army
those.
gets there.
He's got to use those just right, Tasteless. I mean, that is going to be what decides this game, is how well can he force field this ramp just correctly at just the right time so that he can actually crush any Marine army that comes up that ramp.
There is an Immortal out as well. It's too bad for him. He probably would like to get a Colossus pretty fast, but I guess anything's going to help against this beefy army down here. The Marines have gathered up.
Very interesting unit movements here by Hyperdub. Looks like he definitely wants for his upgrades to be finished, which they are at this point.
He might also be peeking constantly with these Hellions, because if he sees a Nexus here, then he knows it's time to attack.
Yeah, that's a perfect attack timing. You know, once they start that Nexus, you're down some units, and if you wait until it's almost finished, that's when you should have the maximum advantage on your opponent. But instead, he is expanding. Very interesting.
Very interesting. Not a timing attack at all, actually.
No, it's just getting some good upgrades. In fact, now he's even getting the concussive shells and starting Marauders, as well as getting his Starport. And I believe that he's actually just going to switch that Starport over and go Viking, so we might just see Marine Marauder Viking with, of course, some Medivacs mixed in.
Let's see if you're right. Is he going to lift it and go to Vikings?
Of course, Tasteless. I'm never wrong.
You've never been wrong, Artosis.
Never in my whole life.
Well, it looks like this was a build that was set up to have the potential for a timing attack, but Protoss expanded so late that he basically said, all right, time to... He does at least have a transition where he just goes ahead and expands. Tester.
Looking so solid right now.
Yeah, he is just such a clean player.
Yeah.
This is a guy you could definitely tell when you watch him play. This guy is definitely a StarCraft 1 pro gamer.
Oh, definitely.
His builds are just so tight.
Everything about his builds, actually, as I sit here and watch, is amazing. He's not overmaking anything. He's getting every little tech building he needs, making everything the right time. I love the fact that he gets multiple sentries and observers. Really wants it's full intel.
This is... Looks like we're going to see a pretty long game here. Tester spreading out his units here. And nice wall here with the pylon. This is to stop those Hellions from getting back behind there and taking out the probes. That's really smart.
Every little thing really builds up in this game. Right now, this is interesting by Hyperdub. Looks like he's actually going to get Ghost Energy.
Very interesting.
And just making Medivacs for now. But Colossus already popping out. He's going to need to switch over to Vikings eventually here. Look at this! Catching the Medivac dropship.
So dropship play over here. Not Vikings at all, actually.
Yeah.
He's got a second dropship out, but Tester, of course, just deflected that instantly. He just had an observer on the map. You see there's another observer right over here where this dropship is.
And this is why he can catch things, because he makes multiple observers. You know, a lot of Protoss players just make one and fly it around, and they're happy with that. Tester, absolutely unhappy with that. Wants to know where everything is at all times. Very pro.
Now he does switch to Vikings. The drop timing seemed a little bit odd there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Tester was even moving out of his base.
Exactly. You need to wait for him to move out of his base. Otherwise, of course he's going to have units around. What kind of a newbie do you think Tester is?
Yeah, and this is one of the things we were talking about with Tester, guys, is that he just does such a good job of kind of letting his opponent kill himself, so to say. He kind of sits back and just waits and absorbs every blow that he tries to throw at him.
And Tester right now with 3 observers. I love that. He really has so much vision. The Terran player thinks that he has all the vision because of the Xel'Naga watchtowers. But in fact, Tester, he has the real vision, Tasteless.
You know what's interesting about this is most Protoss players that we've seen here, they always focus on getting the Colossus out as fast as humanly possible and then just continuously making Colossus. But in this case, he gets observers out, and I guess he has Hyperdub's numbers. He knew he was going to harass, so...
Yeah. Tester can do without every little advantage. You know, he feels that Hyperdub is below its level. All tournament results point towards that, and Tester's play so far as well.
We do see Hellions going around. Could have been an opportunity to attack. He gets double Stargate. We've seen people go Void Rays. Once you get enough Void Rays, it just gets out of control.
Yeah, a nice little tech switch to that will force your opponent into, oftentimes, more Marines. But there are a lot of Vikings out as well. And for a Colossus, Marines are they're one of their favorite treats next to Hydras.
That's true. That's very, very true. And as you can see, he's got a lot of Vikings, but Stalker, you know, back up here is pretty solid. I mean, he could shoot those down.
Just got to control him right, and I tell you, Tester's control of his Stalker Colossus defense gonna be pretty stellar, I'm sure.
Vikings meeting up here. Actually, I really have to commend this observer play here. This is actually just so smart. Just keeping observers everywhere. Because let's face it, at least at this phase of the game, Terrans are not getting Ravens very quickly.
No,
you know, if they're gonna do a build like this, if they're gonna 2 barracks, and actually, take a look up here. This is interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Really playing differently. He's gonna go ahead and get Phoenixes.
He wants to be able to take down those Vikings, I guess. He figures his Stalker is not going to be enough. Very interesting.
This is...
Especially when there's so many Marines out in the field.
We're going to learn a lot this game from watching these guys.
You know, this is something Noni's been telling me a lot, is, you know, still Phoenix is very useful against Terran, just we aren't seeing them that often. I like the fact that he gets an economy before going them as well. All the Phoenixes we've seen against Terran so far in this tournament have pretty much been off one base, and it's just not as effective when obviously there's going to be a lot of Marines anyways.
Yeah, true. Well, he's staying very infantry intensive, continuing to get the drop ships. And of course, Tester has everything on notice. He knows exactly what's going on. He knew that the guy wasn't going to get Ravens early since he did use the reactor.
Looks like he's going to move out a little bit here. And Tester going to move down as well.
He scans the army. And it looks like the battle's about to begin. The Vikings.
And look at this. Phoenix is doing a great job of holding those Vikings back. Vikings not doing their job. And the Marine Marauder army has to run away. You know, the Vikings have to be hitting Colossi during that.
As you can see, the Vikings have superior range. And he does push him back, though. It looks like the battle could potentially end up right over this area. He scans. Is he going to go for it? No, he moves back. He wants to get one of these bases. Meanwhile, the gold base just now completes here.
You know, right now, Hyperdub is maxed out. We have Tester at 175, but Hyperdub with 15 more probes. So the army of Tester will actually be slightly more powerful.
As you can see, nice! Attacking in over here, but meanwhile, Phoenix is drawing a lot of the Viking fire. These Colossuses are really doing a ton of damage to the infantry.
That's right, that infantry, look at it, it's all yellow and orange right now. Tester warping in a bunch more units. He can reinforce a lot quicker than a Terran player can. And here we go, the Colossi coming up, hitting all the Marauders and Marines, and the Phoenix is doing their job, cleaning out all the flying units.
Wow.
Great play by Tester, just totally demolishing the maxed army of Hyperdub.
That was actually really impressive. The angling came and everything, GG. That was a pretty straightforward series there.
Yeah. Wow. Tester showing why he is a favorite, why he is considered by many to be the absolute best Protoss in the world.
Tester, also known as SSKS. That's his initials. Soki Su. He's a beast, man. He played really well in both those games. Those were two very, very different games.
Yeah. He just defended perfectly all over the place. Solid macro, solid micro. And that is something pretty scary to see out of a Protoss player. We have not seen anyone of that level. I mean, Hongun is great, any pro's great, but Tester just seems to me to be on a complete different level when I watch him.
He's just so solid, man. I mean, especially in that first game where he actually survived that rush, which is engineered to beat the build that he was doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's engineered to beat a one-gate player who's attacking, has 2 sentries, and Tester just fends it off. It's really, really impressive.
If you make even one mistake against this guy, he's going to live. Or he's going to kill you, depending upon who's attacking who.
Depending on what phase of the game it is. We hope you guys submitted some questions so that our Artosis over here, my hetero nerd life partner, he's right there, can interview Tester. We are going to go to a break momentarily here. Well, I am. You don't actually get any breaks.
I don't break.
You actually just work for
Starcraft
3 hours straight.
Is my life, Tasteless.
But send some questions in, guys. And, of course, we asked the winner.
Tester,
in this case.
Love interviewing that guy.
Yeah.
Good old friend of mine. Lived with him actually for over a year.
Yeah. Oh. Lived with a lot of nerds, man.
I have lived with a lot of nerds.
I've lived with a lot of nerds as well in my life. Starcraft guys out here in Korea. So whenever the Korean commentators are done, we're going to wrap this up and get that interview underway for you guys. By the way, special thanks to our sponsors at Intel and TT Sambo. We will be right back.
So many people lost and they trying to find their way back home. What's going on? Cause we need solutions. Must wake up cause we're so confused. We got kids selling drugs, girls needing love. Always want more cause it's never enough. This is a critical